Greetings and a pleasant day, everyone. My name is Hamza Panangilan Abdul Nasir, and I will be reporting to you the conjunction. So, conjunction is a word that connects words, phrases, clauses, and sentences together, and they're also known as connector or coordinator. And I will not exhaust my energy in discussing this conjunction, the basic form of conjunction, as we will dig into deeper. So, in English, there are three types of conjunctions, and these are the coordinating conjunction, correlative conjunction, and subordinating conjunctions. Let us begin first with the coordinating conjunctions. So basically, coordinating conjunctions are used to join two or more words, phrases, or independent clauses. And the two elements that being joined must be grammatically equal or similar in both importance and structure. Now, accordingly, in English, there are 7 coordinating conjunctions, and they can be remembered using the acronym FANBOYS, which stands for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Now, these coordinate conjunctions are categorized into flexible and limited. So when we say flexible coordinating conjunction, it means that it can be used to connect any of the three, whereas the other one is limited. So in flexible, we have and, but, or, and yet, and in limited, we have for, nor, and so. And let's begin first with the flexible part. Now, and is used to add one element to another. And is a type of flexible coordinate conjunction, right? And it can be used to join the three. For for instance, we have here Jay and Hamza bought a food. So Jay here are individual words and they're connected using the acronym, I mean using the coordinate conjunction and. Another example is silky long hair. His silky long hair and dark brown eyes caught my attention. Silky long hair and dark brown eyes are are phrases and they're connected using the coordinate conjunction and. The third one is the family moved into a new house and the neighbors welcomed them warmly. As you can see, the family moved into a new house is a complete sentence. It is an independent clause. It can stand alone. And the neighbors welcomed them warmly is also an independent clause. And they're connected using the acronym, using the coordinating conjunction and. Sorry. The second one is the flexible coordinating conjunction but, and it is used to present a contrast with previous information. For instance, he was upset but did not cry. I would love to travel more, but I just do not have time. So as you can see, but is not able to connect words. And it is the rule. It can be used to connect words. Like you can say Jay but Hamza, you can say that. But is only used to connect independent clause to a phrase or independent clause to another independent clause. That's the usage of but. Next is the flexible coordinating conjunction or. So this is used to present alternative choices or options. Remember, choices or options. For instance, would you like the chicken, the pork, or the beef? So as you can see here, the chicken, the pork, are and the beef are phrases, and they're connected using the or, the flexible coordinating conjunction or, to present that these three are choices or options. The second one is which sports do you think is more exciting, football or hockey? So as you can see here, football, hockey are words, individual words, and they are connected by this flexible coordinating conjunction. The third one is the we can go to the movies tonight or we can just hang out at home, and they're presented as as choices, and these are clauses. So meaning to say, or is used to can be used to connect phrases, words, and clauses. Next one is the flexible coordinating conjunction yet, and it is used also, just like but, to present contrast. However, there is a subtle implication. We use this when the information is surprising or unexpected, meaning it is beyond what we anticipate. We have here for example, The movie was depressing yet uplifting at the same time. So, as you can see, there is a nice contrast. And it is surprising because who would expect that a depressing movie would be uplifting at the same time? So, depressing and uplifting here is a surprising contrast. It is not expected that a depressing movie would be a a you know would be a yeah. And we can also say that a horror movie would be an inspiring at the same time. So it is a nice contrast. For example, the horror movie that we have watched um, was scary yet inspiring at the same time. So we can also say that it is a nice contrast because yeah, that's like what I've said. Another example is I have read thousands of books since high school, yet The Catcher in the Rye is still my favorite. As you can see here, it is really surprising. It is indeed surprising that The Catcher in the Rye is still his favorite after reading thousands of books. Imagine thousands of books and still The Catcher of the Rye is still his favorite. So it is a nice contrast. Now question, are yet and but interchangeable? Well, the answer is yes and at the same time no. In informal setting, yes, you can interchange them. However, in formal setting, you cannot. And also, it depends on the context. Let's take, for example, this. He did not study, but he got the highest score. And he did not study, yet he got the highest score. So, as we can hear, both presents contrast. However, in the first example, the usage of but, it simply treats the contrasting information as a fact with no emotional component. Whereas the second one, the usage of yet, is expressing a feeling of surprise, no? And it may be that the person you are referring to in the first example, which is the usage of but, is someone genius. So it is not surprising that he got the highest score despite not studying. And it may be that the person you are referring in the second example, the usage of but, is someone stupid. That is why it is really surprising that he got the highest score. And this is subjective, guys. The usage of this is subjective and it depends on the speaker. For example, yeah, it depends on the speaker. So if the information surprises you or is beyond your expectation, you use yet. And if it is not surprising, you use but. Okay? Okay, so now that we are done with the flexible coordinating conjunction, let us proceed to the limited coordinating conjunction. So let us have first the limited coordinating conjunction for. So for is used to give a reason for something. And normally it can only join two independent clauses, only two independent clauses, introducing the second independent clause as the reason for the first one. For instance, I believe you, for you have never lied to me before. So these are two independent clauses. And as you can see, it is the for, the coordinating conjunction for here, is used to present that you have a reason, you have never lied to me before, presents as the reason for the first independent clause, I believe you. Next is that he did not come to the party for he felt sick. And again, it is the 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 second independent clause is introduced as the reason for the first independent clause. Now we use for whenever we mean because, no? But it is quite considered formal and literary and even antiquated. Next slide is the limited coordinating conjunction nor. So nor is used to present an additional negative information or negative idea when a negative idea has already been stated. So it is, yeah, it is to add additional negative idea. For instance, Jay does not like English, nor does he enjoy Filipino. And she has not been to Paris, nor has she traveled to Rome. And as you can notice, guys, we cannot say that Jay does not like English, nor he does enjoy Filipino. It's because that is the rule. We call it the negative inversion. So when we use nor to join independent clause, the second independent clause must be in negative inversion. Now, grammarians are in dispute now whether nor can be used to join two elements that are not independent clause. If this will be the case, we can use nor to use another, for example, to use it to connect words. Then if that would be the case, then I have not seen nor heard from Jay in days would be considered correct. However, a lot of grammarians say that it is grammatically wrong. So to those who prefer using, who do not prefer using nor in connecting seen and heard or individual words, then they can use the coordinating conjunction or. Lastly is the limited coordinating conjunction. So basically, generally, so is only used to join two independent clauses, whereas the second clause is a result of the first. For instance, here, for instance, he was exhausted, so he went to bed early. So he was exhausted, so he went to bed early. So the second independent clause is introduced by the limited coordinating conjunction. So as the result, yeah. And I hope you understand the coordinating conjunction because we will proceed to the another type of conjunction. Okay, I hope that you understand the coordinating conjunctions. Now let's proceed to the correlative conjunctions. So basically, correlative conjunctions are conjunctions that are, or paired conjunction, no, are sets of conjunction that are always used together. And unlike coordinating conjunction, they can only join two elements together, no more. Two elements lang, two elements lang ang kaya nilang i-join. These are the some of the most common, no, most common correlative conjunction in English, and there is a lot pa. So these are both and, either or, just as so, neither nor but, not only but also, whether or. The usage of both and, when we want to put emphasis on two elements that are true in a sentence, we could also use the coordinating conjunction and, but it doesn't achieve the same emphatic effect. So both and is the only, so we use both and to add emphasis. So we can also say that this house is large and cozy. However, there's no empathic effect there. So when we say this house is both large and cozy, it emphasizes the fact that the house is large and cozy. So there is an emphasis there. Um, Second example is she both cleaned her room and washed the dishes. So as you can see, cleaned her room and washed the dishes here are phrases, and large and cozy are individual words, meaning to say that we cannot use it to join independent clauses, only words and phrases. Okay. Yeah. Now another correlative conjunctions is the either or. So either or is we use this when we want to emphasize the fact that the choices is limited to only two given options. We use either or, and it is used to present two options only. So we cannot say that you can you can paint the house either blue, green, white, or red. So it is grammatically incorrect rather, because either or is used only to present two options. We want to emphasize that the options is two, or two rather. So if there is more options, if you have more options, then we only use the coordinating conjunction or. For instance, I want to paint the house either white or green. So as you can see here, white and green are only the two options that the speaker has. So those are individual words. And second example is, let us either go swimming or go shopping. Go swimming and go shopping are phrases. Either your father will pick you up or you'll get a ride home with a friend. Independent clauses. So meaning to say, we can use either or to, yeah, to connect the three. Next is the neither nor. So similar to either or, this can also use to join the three elements, the words, phrases, and clauses. However, neither nor is used to negate two options, no? We use this when we do not desire to make any of the choices. Meaning, if we do not want to do any of the choices, then we use neither nor. For example, I have neither the time nor the patience for silly TV programs. Meaning to say, the time and the patience here are phrases, and they are used to connect, and the neither nor here is used to connect the two. Meaning to say that the speaker do not have the time and do not have the patience. Second example is, neither James nor Mike enjoys playing basketball. James and Mike here are individual words. Neither does he understand nor does he care. So, independent clauses. So as you can see, we apply negative inversion here. We use negative inversion or the reversal. When we say negative inversion, it is the reversal of the subject and auxiliary verb when neither and nor begin two independent clauses. Hope you understand. Let's proceed to the correlative conjunction not but. So not but is used to basically used to express contradiction or contrast. So we want to negate the first option and emphasize the second one. So we want to disregard the first option and we want to emphasize the second. We have here example, the first one. He is not happy but thrilled. As you can see, he is not happy, meaning it negates the fact, it negates the feeling happy, but it emphasizes the fact that he is thrilled, not only happy, but uh, no, wrong. He's not only he is not happy, but he is thrilled. Hope you understand. Another one is the not just one friend turned up to help, but the entire team arrived. And the third one is, we did not consider sustainable energy not just for today, but for the future. The next one is not only, but also. So basically, we use this when we want to emphasize the additional element in the sentence, especially when the additional element seems contradictory or surprising. So just like yet. So if it is surprising, we use not only but also. Meaning if the additional information is surprising, take note, additional information added, or the additional elements rather, is surprising, we use not only but also. Let's go back again to the example that in the previous one. So this house is not only large but also cozy. Meaning to say, it emphasizes the fact, no? It emphasizes the second additional elements, which is cozy. So it is not only large but also cozy. So it may be that in this sentence, the speaker is surprised that the speaker believes that the large houses are not usually cozy. So it may be that since she did not believe that a large house can be at the same time cozy, she was surprised. And the second example is, she not only cleaned her room, but she also washed the dishes. So in this sentence, it may be that the speaker is surprised that she did the both chores or the both works. The third example is, not only is she an award-winning singer, but she also runs track. So the speaker is impressed, no, and surprised that she can do both two unrelated activities. So it is surprising that that person can do the two. Next is the correlative conjunction just as so. So basically, it is used to indicate, to show that the two elements being joined are similar. Yeah, are similar, and usually just as begins an independent clause, and so is followed by a second independent clause. But there are cases that we can use in this phrase. Yeah, for instance, just as I love films, so do my brother love sports. So they are similar in a way that they both love something. Another one is just as French is spoken in France, so is English spoken in English. So the similarity being highlighted is the linguistic connection, no? The linguistic connection of the between each language and the country where it is predominantly spoken or originated from. The third example is just as in times of joy, so in times of sorrow, she remained steadfast. So the similarity being emphasized is the consistency for her behavior or attitude, regardless of whether she is experiencing joy and sorrow. And as you can see, we apply inversion here also after so. It is because it is traditional, no? However, it is common, especially in informal writing and speech, to not apply inversions. But if you are writing in a formal, you have to apply the inversion because it is the rule. It is traditional. Next slide is the when we want to express doubt or uncertainty between two possible options, we use the correlative conjunction whether or. Sorry. Take note that whether has the same meaning as if. In this regard, for instance, I do not know whether the white paint or the green paint is better. We can also say that to understand it, we can say I do not know if the white paint or the green paint is better. But we cannot say if or because they're not correlative, they're not pair. It's just that when we mean if, we use whether because whether or are set. The third one is he is unsure whether he will go to the party or stay at home. So meaning he is uncertain of what will he do. And the third example is for the past week he has been debating whether he will go to the party or he will stay home. So as you can see, the white paint, the green paint are phrases. He will go to party. He will go to the party, independent clause, stay home, phrase. Take note of the usage of this, the usage, whether it can be used to connect words, phrases, and clauses. In correlative conjunction, always remember that it should be parallel structure or apply the parallelism, especially in formal writing. For instance, I am not sure whether the white or painting it green would be better. Noun is phrase is joined with the phrase. Yeah. So I'm not sure whether the white paint or painting it green would be better. So as you can see, noun phrase is joined with a verb phrase, meaning it is incorrect. You cannot do that. It must be parallel in structure. Finally, the last type of conjunction is the subordinating conjunctions. So accordingly, subordinating conjunctions are used to create a complex sentences containing one independent clause, also called as main clause, and one independent clause, also called as subordinate. Now, subordinate conjunction does two things. First, first it introduces the dependent clause and it subordinates the independent clause, meaning it tells the reader that it is less important than the independent clause. And second is it explain, no, it shows relationship it has with the independent clause. So for example, we have here, for example, I went to the supermarket and it is an independent clause. I went to the supermarket, independent clause. We were out of milk, independent clause also. But however, there is no clear relationship. Both of this sentence can stand alone. They're independent clause. However, there is no clear relationship here. So when we add the subordinate conjunction, because it makes yeah, it makes the second sentence as a it subordinates, for example. So um it will become um I went to the supermarket because we were out of milk. So meaning it subordinates the independent clause, we were out of milk. So it clarifies the relationship that it is cause and effect. Yeah, the word since also clarifies that the relationship between the two clauses is one of cause and effect, and it tells the reader that the independent clause I went to the supermarket is more important. Now, in terms of structure, it does not matter which clause comes first. So you can say, since we were out of milk, I went to the supermarket. You can also say that it may begin, it may be put in the uh initial place. Now, the dependent clause may appear either at the beginning or at the middle of the sentence. Take note that when we place subordination conjunction at the beginning, we need to add comma. Yes, we have to add comma or use a comma before the independent clause, and this is applicable to any subordinate conjunction. Now let us get to know the types of relationship between clauses and their functions. So we have here the functions of coordinating conjunctions. We have here cause and effect, comparison, concession, condition, place, reason, time. Let's start first with the cause and effect. So I have already given an example early, but we have here more example. For example, the report was successful as I worked very hard. So basically they are interchangeable. However, as here is a bit more formal than the two. So if you're writing in a formal setting, you may say it is preferred to say as because it is more formal compared to the two. So they're interchangeable. But if you're writing in a formal setting, it is advisable to use the as. Now for comparison and concession in terms of similarity, as and just as ang is what we use. We can use as to state that the two ideas are similar. Also, if you want to add extra emphasis to statement, you can use just as. So just as is used to add extra emphasis. So we can say that it is pouring rain as I thought it would. Now, if we want to add emphasis, it is pouring rain just as I thought it would. As you can see, we added comma here because it flows better with a comma. Although the subordinate conjunction is not in the initial, although it's not in the initial, yeah, in the initial position. When we want to highlight the difference naman, or when we want to contrast, we use these subordinate conjunction, no? These subordinate conjunctions. While and where can be used interchangeably. Yeah, while and whereas. They both present contrast. So for example, my brother worked really hard while I did not make much of an effort. Or you can also say my brother worked really hard whereas I did not make much of an effort. So it is contrasting. The brother and I are contrasting. So we use the we use the subordinate conjunction while and whereas, which is interchangeable. So we use whereas is often considered more formal. Yeah, it is more formal. We also use comma between the clauses even though these subordinate conjunctions are not in the initial position. Now in although, though, and even though, we use this rather when we want to say that something occurred despite something else. So take note that although and though can be used interchangeably, whereas even though is used to add extra emphasis. For instance, I went to that restaurant though I was told it was not very good. Or you can also say, I went to that restaurant although I was told it was not very good. However, when we want to emphasize, we use even though. So we can say, I want I went to that restaurant even though I was told it was not very good. Also, just like the previous one, we can also begin the we can also put the subordinate conjunction at the beginning. So we can say, even though I was told it was not very good, I went to that restaurant, pardon me, and we add comma there. Now, these six no, these six subordinate conjunctions are used when we are referring to a hypothetical situations. So let's take for example, now we have here for example, I will buy you a Zinger burger if you help me move my furniture, or you can say I will buy you a Zinger as long as you help me move my furniture, or provided you help me move my furniture, or and so on. You can interchange them. And when we say this, it is only like we are saying that it is the only key. So it is like saying that I will only buy you a pizza if you help me. Now we use the now we use the subordinate conjunction even if when an outcome will occur despite a hypothetical action. For instance, I will buy you a pizza even if you do not help me move my furniture. So meaning we are saying here that I will buy you a pizza anyway, even if you do not help me. Now the last one is the subordinate conjunction in case. So basically, we use this to suggest a precaution against a hypothetical possibility. For instance, I am bringing an umbrella in case it starts raining. So I am worried it might rain, so I am bringing an umbrella. Now we can also say I am bringing an umbrella just in case it starts raining. So when we want to add emphasis there. Now when the dependent clause is related to a place, we use these two coordinating conjunctions. So however, they cannot be used interchangeably. Mhm. For instance, he lives where it is always sunny, meaning he lives in a place that is sunny. Whereas when we mean any or every place, or when we want to emphasize that we do not mind where that place is as long as it has met our requirement, or anywhere rather than any specific location, we use the subordinating conjunction wherever. For instance, I want to go wherever it's quiet. I want to go wherever it is quiet. So I want to go to any place and I do not mind where, as long as it is quiet. Quieter, rather. Sorry. I'm hungry now. When we want to give reasons, we use the subordinate conjunction in order that, so that, and so. All of these have the same meaning, so they can be used interchangeably. However, they differ in formality. So, for instance, our boss asked us to take a detailed notes in order that nothing would be forgotten. So that, and so. In order that is used when it is formal, and so that is neutral. So meaning you can use it either in formal or in not formal, in informal. And so is less formal among the two, among them. Now, when the action of independent clause occurred first or happened first, we use before. For instance, I went shopping before I came home. Meaning to say, she went, yeah, I went shopping first. Now, when we want to say that the two actions occur at the same time, we use when, once, as soon as. However, they cannot be used interchangeably as they have slight difference in meaning. So we can't use them together, or I mean, interchangeably. We use the subordinate conjunction when we are not adding any particular emphasis. For instance, I was sleeping when the phone rang. So it happens at the same time. However, there is no emphasis there. I saw my brother when he was out with his friends. So when we are emphasizing that the two actions happened or will happen at the same time or a rapid succession, we use once or as soon as. For instance, please clean your room once you get home. So we are emphasizing here that it should be yeah. And the second example is once the clock strikes midnight, the new year begins. So this sentence indicates that one event immediately follows another without any gap in between. It suggests that the two actions are closely linked in time, almost as if they happened simultaneously. So when we use when, it happened at the same time. However, when we use once or as soon as, it means there is a rapid succession. There is no time gap, as if it happened at the same time. So, like, yeah, sunod-sunod. Mabilis na pagkakasunod. Now, in terms of series of action, so when with the action of the independent clause happened second, no, we use the subordinate conjunction after. For instance, I went shopping. I went shopping after I finished work. So I finished work first, then went shopping. He won first prize in spelling bee after he started 5th grade. He started 5th grade first, then won a spelling bee. Next, when we want to state that one action stops when another, no, when one action stops when another one begins, we use until. For instance, he can rock he can run track until he moved here. So meaning he stopped running track when he moved here. Another example is you can borrow my jacket until I need it. So it means that you must stop using my jacket when I need it. And finally, whew, the subordinating conjunction whenever can be used. So they whenever can be used in two ways. So when you want to state that the time does not matter, when the time does not matter, or that the two action always happen together. It always happen together. So two. So in it's either it does not the time does not matter, or the action happens always happen together. For example, call me whenever you get home, meaning to say, call me when you get home, but I do not mind when that is. whenever you get home. So I don't mind when that is. Next is she cries whenever she sees a sad movie. So meaning she cries every time she sees a sad movie. And that is the conjunction. And I hope that you understand, and I hope that you also understand that I am hungry right now. That's why I am really, yeah, I am logging. So this is my reference, the reference of my report. It is the book, the Farlex Grammar Book, Complete English Grammar Rules. And again, I am Hamza Panangilan Abdul Sir, the eighth reporter, and pardon me if there is something that you did not get. Don't worry, I will upload my DLP, my supposedly DLP for the reporting, and I will upload it so that you may read it so that you may be able to mm, understand it way more better. And again, thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something.